taking a chance living there with asthma, especially asthma as bad as mine. Like, it makes asthma a lot worse, and I think it can actually lead to something similar to asthma. It can really like mess up your lungs. It can affect your brain, which sounds terrifying, but so I guess it causes like amnesia or like memory loss.
I had a really bad sickness after I had left the house, like a week after, that was basically like I couldn't like move, like my immune system was totally weakened, and there were just like a lot of different symptoms from it. Like I got skin rashes, I had a lot of problems breathing. I quit smoking for a while after that.
I got kind of sick, and it took me a really long time to heal from it. And then again, when I moved back in after winter break, I started getting sick. I mean, I was stuffy when I was going to sleep, and I'd wake up with like congestion.
We would leave the house in the morning and I'd feel fine during the day, and then I'd come back and the next morning I'd be all stuffy again. So it wasn't a cold.
And did the doctors say what happened to you was definitely in part because of the
Yeah,
black mold?
definitely. No, like there's no question that that house is what weakened my immune system so much.
I think it's okay to live upstairs still. The upstairs is fairly clean. I just went around the house and found several patches of mold, which no one had noticed before. And once those were cleaned, within a week, my breathing started getting better. And it's been fine since. I haven't woken up with an asthma attack, like in a month, at least a month.
We needed a place to stay for a few days, so we stayed in the mold house.
Nick, be yourself.
I'm being myself.
You're yelling at the camera.
So we needed a place to stay for a few days, and so we stayed at the mold house.
Well, I decided to come back to COA, and then I decided to live with Jake, and he lived there, and so I moved in.
It was the end of my first year, it was, the end of springtime, and people were looking for housing for next year, and I had a bunch of my really good friends who were planning on moving in, and they were saying how there was this whole other set of rooms. It was like another apartment almost up on top of where they were living, and we could really fill up the house. And it just seemed like it would be a really good time to move in there, so I called up the landlord, which was really cheap. It was perfect, and so I got some other people together, and we decided to move in.
Trouty and Joseph and Jason and Stu were supposed to live there, and they walked in and were like, there's no way we're living here, that's disgusting. And so there were 2 open spaces, and Abby and I, who were planning on living together, didn't have a place to live.
Like, it was super cheap rent, which was like, it's a steal. I mean, I couldn't say no, and I just, I don't have a huge amount of money. So that, it made the most sense to live there. And it was also one of the only places that I'd heard of that was cheap. So I didn't know there was black mold when I first moved in. And then, shortly after moving there, I heard that people downstairs were leaving because of black mold, but I didn't hear that there was any black mold up top. So I was like, well, if it's downstairs, we're upstairs, no one upstairs has gotten sick.